welcome back to our channel. Yeah, it's gonna always be awkward when we first
get on.
Yeah, get on, but we'll get better at
It's
this.
like a warm up.
Yeah.
Like wind it up.
Right. Sorry for the delay. I was in a car accident, but as you can see, I'm fine. It was just minor injuries. Well, I'm saying minor. I did get hurt. I am paying for it, but I'm gonna get better. I believe God that I'm gonna get better, and everything's gonna be okay. Coming to you, this is like this video is not planned. I'd like to say Camellia doesn't even know what we're gonna talk about, but I think it's a good topic I had in mind, and I wanted to flow, so I purposely didn't tell her this time. Make sure y'all go and watch our previous videos. We just recently dropped our first vlog. Yeah, when we went to see Jill Scott, that was dope. Thanks to my babe, she got us tickets. My first official concert that I've ever been to. That was dope. We're gonna try to keep this short, so I'm gonna go ahead and stay on topic. If I could think of a title, I would say there's no perfect answer, or there's no perfect way to make a relationship work. It really goes off of the type of relationship you have. Nobody's perfect. So the main topic, two topics that I want to focus on is communication and being realistic. That you're going to have spats. You're gonna disagree. You're going to everything's not going to be peaches and cream and super happy all the time. So without further ado, I'm gonna get on communication first. We established communication in the beginning. Like that was like one of the things that her and I already knew that it was going to be important in this relationship. We must have communication. Mm-hmm. We talked about everything. There were no secrets. Like we used to play the question game all the time. Mm-hmm. We still do, not as much as we used to, but we still do play it. And we would ask very serious questions, personal questions, things that significant
out-of-pocket questions.
Yeah, things that significant others really wouldn't ask. We would ask each other about our exes, like very, like she said, out-of-pocket, questions. But that opened up the door for us to be able to communicate, for us to be able to be honest. Mm-hmm. And lying, it was already, we knew off Bucks, lying was not something that we was willing to tolerate in our relationship. We can say that communication has definitely helped us during our rough times. Mm-hmm. Like people tell us how much they love us, and like they're inspired by us, but we not here to fake for y'all. Mm-hmm. We have rough times, we disagree, it's natural, it's going to happen. Like you're not gonna have a perfect relationship. There's not no book to tell you how to make relationships work. You just pick what works for you two, and you keep that strong. Like you hold on to it. One thing with communication, I think that it's hard for me. First of all, I'm gonna answer honestly if you ask me. I'm not a blurt out person. Like I just don't talk. Like I'm gonna say that I have a situation, and she hears about it. I might not come directly and be like, "This is what's going on." I'm a wait till you ask me type person. Sometimes that work and sometimes that don't. I'll call that a flaw in communication with me. But at the same time, if she do ask, I will answer honestly. One of the other big things for me is learning to be comfortable with your partner. Because when you're comfortable with them, then you feel comfortable enough to be honest. Mm-hmm. You feel comfortable enough to speak your mind. I'm not a good verbal person. Like, even with this random video right now, my mind is racing because I like to take notes. So with that being said, sometimes I have to write things down. I have to send things in a text message. Some would feel like, you know, if you send out a text and say you want to quit a job and you send out a text, your boss might feel like you don't have any integrity because you quit through a text. Me personally, I just flow better that way. Sometimes I can get my words out. And when I send it in a text, I make sure you understand like my vibe. I make sure you understand what I mean. I'm very clear, like I'm breaking it down from A to Z through text, where if I'm saying it, like I talk hard sometimes, so you might not even get to understand, you know, what I'm trying to say verbally because my mind is racing. But Camellia understand that. So, you know, sometimes when I need to get my thoughts out, I'll send it to her in a text, even if she's sitting right next to me. And she understands that's what works for me. A lot of people don't understand what communication is. You know, so communication is talking things out. Communication is being honest. Communication is sharing things, you know, that might be on your mind even when it's not asked. Communication is having a conversation, being able to converse amongst each other. You have to keep that open line of communication in relationships. That is very, very important. Sometimes we keep things to ourselves. I'd be a liar if I said that, you know, you have to tell everything on your mind. That's not the case. We choose to try to be open about everything because we established a friendship like that. We were best friends first. It was good. Like, we started off good with communicating, but I wanna make sure you guys understand that it does get different. When we got in a relationship, you get a little bit more considerate about what you say because you don't want to hurt each other's feelings, or you are a little bit more sensitive to what each other say because now you have more feelings involved, and then it makes it hard to communicate. And so things definitely started to get shaky with her and I. But, you know, we writing in our book, our journal, and me sending text messages. I would send a long message quick. That helped me out. It gets rocky, but you being considerate, being understanding, being willing.
Yeah, those are big words.
Is important. You have to be willing to hear them out. You have to be willing to put your feet in their shoes. You have to be willing to be honest. You have to be willing to talk. However way you choose to communicate, writing it down, texting it out, poetry, free write. Those are things that we do. Actually sitting down and talk, saying we need to have a talk. The further along you get in your relationship and the deeper your feelings get in the relationship, you definitely get more sensitive to certain things. But I always understand in the back of my mind, we established this already. And certain things I know how to carry it. So if she come to me and she talked to me about a guy that has been watching her, this is a true story, a guy that has been watching her outside of the window of her job, who realized that he knows her, and he turned around and messaged her. During the conversation, I was attentive, and I was like, you know, oh, for real, I listened, you know, I was a listening ear. Once the conversation was over, I definitely went silent. Like, so there's a dude that's been watching you outside your window, like, and y'all know each other, so he's messaging you. My mind get to racing, like, well, what do you want? Like, okay, what's his motive? But in the beginning, I gave her best friend. I listened. And then once she got that out and we talked about it, she asked me, like, you definitely got silent. And I'm like, yeah, that kind of made me feel awkward. Like, some dude real live watching my lady, like, at her job. And then y'all know each other, so he messaging you on Facebook. And she understood, and guess what? It was over. Like, we talked about it and we moved on. So now she know I get a little jealous. And, alright, I'm cool with that. I ain't even tripping. She's worth being jealous over. In my opinion, that's how I feel. So I'm not even tripping. Yeah, I was, like, feeling a little salty. But like I said, when she first brought the conversation to me, I was for it. I was able to hear her out.
I just want to say a flaw that I have is I hold on to things. And some people would call it a grudge in a sense, but I don't. My thought process more so is like, if I'm rubbed wrong, I feel like I have to deal with it. Like I have to figure out why I was rubbed wrong and try to figure out how I'm gonna say something about it. The flaw in that is that I don't say it right when it happens. So it can happen at 12 o'clock in the afternoon, and by maybe 7, now I want to be like, well, what was this about, and what had happened? Like, I need that understanding. And I view that as a flaw because I'm now putting her in a predicament where she has to now figure out, like, well, where's this even coming from? Because when this happened, you didn't say anything. Or, you know, when I gave you the chance to say how you felt, you kind of like just kind of moved on from the situation, like nothing happened. So now how are you coming to me with something that happened a long time ago? I think that communication definitely starts with you getting a feel who you're dealing with. Like Markia said, I know how she operates. I know that she's very outspoken in a sense because, like she said, she tells it how it is. Where for me, I sugarcoat for a lot of people actually, and most of the time because I'm always considering the next person's feelings before my own. I tend to automatically think of the next person before myself in most circumstances. So if we're in a situation where it's heated or it's getting a little defensive, I'll hold back how I might really feel, or I'll reword some things so that I'm not hurting her feelings or making her uncomfortable or any of that, which I shouldn't do because it makes things worse when you don't just say how you feel. That's just what I think. You should never get to a point where you feel like you can't tell your significant other how you really feel. And though we have our ways of how we operate, we get on each other's nerves. We definitely get to the point where it's like, I know that's how you operate, but can't you do this? Like, can't you just do something different so that we can get a different outcome? And like, we used to write. We started off writing in journals. Even if we had bad days, we started writing like, all right, this is how I feel about such and such and such. Or, you know, today we had a really good day and I hope we stay here. Or if it's real short and sweet because you're angry, well, I'm not feeling it today. Like, all these things are a way to communicate. And sometimes I do feel the same way. Sometimes it is better to write down how you actually feel because you get to let off on the paper, if that makes sense. So you really just get a chance to like let your mind open like a book and just like get the writing, like just take off with it. Where if we're face to face, we automatically feel like either I have to defend myself or I have to, you know, move around how I'm gonna make you feel. And it's really just about how things work for you. If you're one of those people where you tell it like it is, watch how you deliver stuff. It's that simple. If you want to say, girl, you're lazy, you're lacking, you're this, you're that. If you know that person doesn't operate, they don't do well with, you know, negativity or something they may feel about themselves, you don't sit and go, girl, you lazy, you lacking, you this. You can say something along the lines of, well, I feel like you could do more of da 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 da. And I mean that in such and such a way. And, you know, maybe we could do da 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 da. It's literally how you say things. So that's something that I'm always thinking like, okay, if I really feel like you're getting on my nerves and I want to say that, I could say, geesh, Like, give me a moment. Like, let me get myself together and then let's start over. Like, that's something I would do. At first, I wouldn't really speak up for myself. That's something truthful. I would not speak up. I wouldn't say how I felt. I wouldn't take charge of a situation because, like I said, I was always worried about the next person. Where now, I won't say I'm completely out of that, but I'm nothing to where I was before. I will say how I feel. I'll find a way to let you know that I'm uncomfortable. Raheem might have to ask me more than once, you know, like, what's really going on? And I'll finally be like, all right, let me just say it. And sometimes it feels like relief. Sometimes it feels like, dang, like, why I had to say that. Sometimes it feels like, you know, I did the right thing of just telling you how I feel. At the end of it all, being truthful is the main key. Being truthful and honest about how you feel and what you're thinking and stuff like that. And I appreciate that she gives me what she does, because just the way things were set up, she wasn't a very open person as far as in a relationship. It's different when you're talking to friends, family, coworkers, whomever. For some reason, we have the tendency to be more open with them, because we feel like there's no guard there. But when you're with a partner or a significant other or whatever the case may be, sometimes we always have to have some type of line in between us, because now we're like, when, for instance, I can be like, well, I don't really want to hurt Markia's feelings, or I don't really want her to feel uncomfortable. I'm not trying to ruffle no feathers. I want to be on her good side. But at the same time, I need to tell her. I need to tell her how I feel. I need to be honest about it. I need to, like, you know, figure out wording so that she can understand what I'm feeling without me coming off mean, rude, disrespectful, acting like I don't care, or something like that. Like, think before you speak. I guess that's what I'm basically trying to say. Think before you speak. If you know somebody operates a certain way, why trigger? Why make them feel some type of way when all you're trying to do is just say how you feel? Like, it should never be like that. So, communication is always a learning situation. Another thing, we have so much going on as personal people, independent people, let me say that. So when stuff goes different ways in your individual life, it's hard not to clash even during communication with each other, because you're looking at it like, she can't help me, I'm going through this and that, and kids is bad, and this and that, and you worried about work did this, and this person said that, and my nerves is bad because blah, blah, blah. So when we come together, and I'm like, what's wrong with you? And she going to me, what's wrong with you? Now we at each other, but technically we mad at other things is going on. So have to find a way to be like, all right, I have to leave that right there so I can at least explain where the anger is coming from. And then we can work on the anger together. Like, all right, yeah, that would have blew me too. That would have made me mad. Like, I understand. And I understand it's used every day, ain't it? Like, just to say, some people don't be paying attention. Like, none of that, but really understanding where that person is coming from. Those are my thoughts for tonight.
Don't allow communication to be a reason why you have a failing relationship in any relationship.
And
not communication.
But it really starts we could say start over, because if you want it bad, you will do it. Mm-hmm. A lot of us don't want it. That's the truth. You over it. And if that's how you really feel, then you both owe each other to tell the truth. Mm-hmm. You know what? Actually, I can't get over this, and I'm not going to. So I'm gonna just go ahead and do this, and that, and be honest about it, because it's nothing worse than going through life and being unhappy. It's nothing worse than going through life and being unhappy.
Or being with somebody that you can't talk to.
What? Because you running out of friends. They don't want to hear no more. You running out of sister, cousin, brothers.
Okay.
Whoever you talking to, they don't want to hear it. They want to
Okay.
know what you going to do to move on or get out of this.
Okay.
And another thing is, honestly, I feel like communication and expectations, it go through a lot in your relationship.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like if we're going to talk about expectations, that's a whole nother video, because we already hitting our mark. But I'm telling you, it's what you go in with, it's how you move from that. It's like it's a lot to this. It's a lot. It's not easy. It's not easy at all. But like I said, if you want it bad enough, you do it.
With that being said, we're gonna do a part 1 and part 2 video. Both of them will be posted at the same time. But we're gonna end this one. And right after this one will be another one, and that'll be a part 2. And you go on to part 2, see what we have for you in that one. All right, we'll be back.